Very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashing Sanipera Singha. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Measures taken to reduce cost of living. State Minister is confident on achieving 1% economic growth at the end of this year. News in detail. As a measure to encourage the inflow of foreign currency into the country, the Cabinet approval has been given on Monday to facilitate non-residents to invest in government securities subject to few conditions. Consequently, Cabinet approval has been given to introduce US dollar and Sri Lankan rupee buying and selling exchange facilities for 1 or 2 years by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank. Hence, the Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, who heads the Finance Ministry, to take several measures to minimize the foreign exchange risk that may occur to licensed commercial banks. Thus, this facility is provided under the condition of conducting the initial foreign exchange transaction and subsequent exchange transaction at the same exchange rate. Moreover, in the event of selling the government securities prior to maturity, the same exchange rate at the time of buying will be applicable but subjected to a penalty. Significantly, this special facility is valid only if there is foreign exchange inflow to the country and subject to a minimum investment of $25 million and a maximum of $1 billion. In the case of depreciation of the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Sri Lanka rupee during the applicable period, the central bank will compensate the loss incurred when transferring its dividends to the Treasury in the future. This is because any loss that could be incurred to the central bank is considered as a cost to the Treasury. Moving on to more Cabinet decisions taken on this Monday, Cabinet approval has been granted for a wide array of decisions to regulate the cost of living of the country. Subsequently, it was also agreed to import wheat subject to temporary import licenses as a substitute for corn. The initial meeting of the Cabinet Subcommittee on the Cost of Living, appointed to find policy and practical remedies required to maintain the cost of living within the country at a stable rate, was held on 31st August with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Accordingly, the Cabinet has granted its approval for the decisions tabled by the Minister of Trade, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, which are taken at the subcommittee in order to ensure the continuous supply of food items to the market without shortage and the regulation of the cost of living steadily. Thereby, it was agreed to maintain a fixed local policy and limit imports only to essential items so that the farmer can be encouraged once again to cultivation. It was further agreed to establish a seed bank as a remedy to the shortage of higher standard seed categories that can be cultivated locally, as well as for the conservation of obsoleted local seed categories. In order to control the escalation of prices of chicken and eggs due to the total stoppage of import of especially corn as the raw material for the production of poultry food, permission has been granted to import wheat subject to temporary import licenses as a substitute for corn. On the other hand, the Cabinet nod was given to increase the Fisheries Corporation outlets to enable the consumers to purchase fish for a reasonable price, while stressing the need to open the planned 40 new outlets soon. Claiming that a recession is officially declared if a state has negative economic growth for 2 consecutive quarters, Samagi Jana Balawegaya parliamentarian and former State Minister of Finance Eran Wickramaratne asked the government why the country's GDP rate in the second quarter is not yet declared. However, addressing the yesterday's parliamentarian debate, State Minister for Finance and Capital Markets and Public Enterprise Reforms, Ajit Niwad Cabral stresses that Sri Lanka is targeting an economic growth of 1% by the end of this year, leading the country towards the path of recovery.
විරේකියාව පළවෙනි කාර්තුවේ 5.7යි මේ පසුගිය අවුරුදු 10 තුල වැඩිම විරේකියාව තිබුණේ 2020 පළවෙනි කාර්තුවේ ඒ දත්තත් ආවේ තුන්වෙනි කාර්තුවේ දෙවෙනි කාර්තුවේ දත්ත ඇවිල්ලා නැහැ. Officially a recession is declared when you have minus growth in 2 quarters. Already the first quarter is 1.6% minus. The second quarter is not yet declared. I'm asking the question why it hasn't been declared. Because officially, if you declare 2 quarters of minus growth, then that country is classified as a country which has a recession. These data must not be manipulated. This data must be provided.
We have a challenge in our hands with regard to the external account. We have already spoken to several investors from all over the world. We continue to engage with them, and we are constantly keeping them abreast of the developments that are taking place in our country. We believe that in that quest, that within a few more weeks, we would see the monies coming back into the Sri Lankan economy in the form of investments as well as foreign direct investments. We have seen the trend movement, the investments into the treasury bills and treasury bonds for the first time in 7 months has once again started to come back. We have seen foreign investors stirring once again. They are keen to come back into Sri Lanka because the local investors are today making purchases of the shares in droves. So the trend has once again reversed in our favor. බොහෝ දෙනෙක් හිතන්නට ඇති මේ වසරේදී අපේ රටේ ආර්ථික වර්ධන වේගය අඩු වෙයි කියලා. අඩු වුණා තමයි කොවිඩ් වසංගතය නිසා අපිට දෙච්ච කටයුතු නිසා. ඒ වුණත් මම හිතන්නේ මේ වසරේදී අපිට සමහර විට බොහෝ අවස්ථාවලදී මේ රටේ වර්ධන වේගය 101ක්වත් අපිට වාර්තා කරගන්න හැකි වෙයි කියලා මම හිතනවා. මුළු ලෝකයේම ආර්ථිකයේ වශයෙන් 4.5ක පමණ අවපාතයකට යොමු වෙන අවස්ථාවකදී ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට පුළුවන් නම් එවැනි තත්ත්වයක් සකස් කරගන්නට මම හිතන්නේ ඒක අපි දකින්නේ ඉතාමත් හොඳ දෙයක් හැටියට.
Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa assures that the environment will be created to elevate Sri Lanka as a country that champions in the field of innovation. President made this observation at a discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday on the future plans of the State Ministry of Skills Development, Vocational Education, Research and Innovation. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa points out that there is a paramount need to create international standard, smart technocrats in the country to meet the demand in the local and world markets. Thus, to this end, President Rajapaksa emphasized the need to launch a program to provide technology and vocational education to all those who pass or fail the GCE ordinary level or advanced level examinations in a short period of time. Moreover, President said that students studying in arts stream could develop their skills in a number of fields including information technology, nursing and management. In the meantime, State Minister for Skills Development, Vocational Education, Research and Innovation, Dr. Sita Arambepola stated that the provision of advice and services to support the innovation process will be brought under one institution, and she discussed the need to establish the Nanotechnology Institute and the Biotechnology Park on the same premises. Chief of the Presidential Task Force on Economic Revitalization, Basil Rajapaksa, said that the Ocean University should work with the fishing community to impart technical knowledge and training to reap the benefits of the marine economy. Experts point out that the amendment to the Higher Education Act can address a number of issues related to institutional and curriculum. Leader of Lanka Samasamaja Party, Professor Tissa Vitarana, is appointed as the new chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts of the 9th Parliament of Sri Lanka. Professor Tissa Vitarana has been appointed as the new chairman of the Committee on Public Accounts. He was nominated to the position by State Minister Lasantha Alagewanna, while it was seconded by Minister Udaya Gammampila. The other members to the Committee on Public Accounts include Udaya Gammampila, Duminda Disanayaka, Dayasiri Jayasekara, Lasantha Alagewanna, Dr. Sudarshani Fernandopulle, Shehan Semasinghe, Prasanna Ranavira, Tissa Athanayaka, Harin Fernando, Niroshan Pereira, Faisal Qasim, Ashok Abesinghe, Buddhika Patirana, K. Kader Mastan, Srivanyanam Sritaran, Dr. Upul Galappatti, BYG Ratnasekara, Veerasumana Veerasinghe, Professor Ranjit Bandara, Mohammad Muzammil and Dr. Harini Amrasurya. In the meantime, speaking at the Parliament today, State Minister of Development of Samurdhi, Home Economy, Microfinance, Self-Employment and Businesses and Underutilized State Resources, Shihan Semasinghe noted that the new government has simplified the tax policy and introduced an easy tax collection system which would facilitate all small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. He said that the Credit Information Bureau has been given the necessary instructions in this regard. The State Minister also said that steps will be taken to introduce a new credit rating system in the future. Highlighting that the biggest economic challenge of the country is to maintain the GDP rate at 6% for next 10 years, Director General of the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka, Sanjay Mohotala, stresses that the main role of the BOI is to uplift the economy of the country while attracting foreign direct investments. Director General of BOI Mohotala made these observations at the recent ceremonial opening of the new administration building at Horana Export Processing Zone. Accordingly, 46 million rupees worth new administrative building of the BOI's Horana Export Processing Zone was opened recently by the chief guest at this occasion, Director General of the Board of Investment Sanjay Mohotala. Horana Export Processing Zone was established in 1999 on a land of 390 acres, of which 181 acres are industrial land. The zone's enterprises have a significant impact on the local economy as they provide direct employment for 3,375 people, and it is noted that the indirect employment would be doubled. There are 21 enterprises in commercial operation at the Horana Export Processing Zone involved in the manufactures of apparel and accessories, food, wooden, consumer, steel and aluminium and plastic products. Moreover, the total export revenue of the Horana Export Processing Zone was 8,632 million rupees last year, and the Horana Export Processing Zone promotes the government's objective to develop regional industrialization. In the meantime, Director General of BOI Sanjay Mohotala added that the steps are being taken to develop thrust sectors for investments such as pharmaceuticals, agriculture processing, ICT, aquaculture and rubber, etc. We will be back with stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all-share price index dropped 8.84 points to close at 5,772.1, and the S&P SL20 dropped 6.34 points to close at 2,486.01. The turnover was 2.1 billion rupees and over 158 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all the news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.